This was all discussed with my esteemed guest who is joining me once again in tonight's episode, Sayid Hossein Al-Qazwini. So let's welcome him. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina. How are you? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I know in Ramadan, especially in Iraq, it's pretty hot. It's humid as well somewhat. So fasting tends to be a bit difficult. And we did talk about yesterday how it's somewhat disciplined, especially for the people in Iraq due to the hot weather, especially during Ramadan. So it's a tough discipline, if you can
inshallah
say.
More rewarding.
Inshallah, inshallah. Sayyidina, after this brief introduction, the question that is raised regarding imama is that what is imama? And is it a religious role, a political, or is it both?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
The question of imama is one of the most controversial topics.
Yes.
In fact, if there's any difference between the followers of the school of thought of Ahlul Bayt and the followers of the Sahaba, would be the topic of imama.
Yes.
This is the core topic.
Yeah.
The others,
the core difference.
This is the core difference.
Yeah.
All the other differences, they stem from this topic. That is why it's very important to address the topic of imama, because it's the core difference. This is one. Two, and what better way to discuss the topic of imama than to discuss it from the Holy Quran?
From the Holy Quran,
because all Muslims accept the Holy Quran.
And that's the only evidence that they accept.
This is the only evidence that both schools of thought agree on.
Yes.
So instead of bringing a hadith from Al-Kafi and Bihar al-Anwar, or bringing narrations from Al-Bukhari or Muslim, all Muslims agree upon the Quran. So let's come to the Quran and see what the Quran says about al-imama. Now, before we talk about imam and all the details, let's see what is imama. What is meant by an imam or imama? We believe that imama is a position just like the position of an-nubuwah and ar-rasala, prophethood and a messengership. You have al-nubuwah, al-rasala, and you have imama. It's one of those great positions.
Yes.
It's a divine position. How we'll prove this? We're not just making claims.
Yes.
But throughout tonight's program, we'll prove that it's a position. Not anyone can just come and claim that he's an imam.
Yes.
Just like no one can claim that he's a prophet or a messenger without proof. We don't have a single prophet that we accepted his prophecy because he declared himself to be a prophet.
Definitely, yeah.
All prophets were
divinely appointed,
selected, divinely appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So too is the imam. It's a position. It's not just a political position. There are some that believe imama and khilafah. We're going to use these terms interchangeably.
Yes.
Imam and khilafah, some see them as a political position only. The leader of the Islamic ummah, the Muslim ummah. This is correct. Imama does have a political aspect to it, but that is only a part of it. The other aspect is the religious aspect. The imam not only leads the ummah and is the political leader and makes decisions for the ummah, protects this nation, wages war, defends, spends the money justly upon the people. This is all a political matter. At the same time, it's a religious position as well. The imam has to teach Islam, to explain the Quran, give details of Islamic laws. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left us, but he did not give us all the details about Islamic laws. It is the job of the imam to continue the job of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and to give all the details, all the minor details. Explain the general laws and principles that were given by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, imama is a huge position. It's a very important position. It's not less important than the position of al-rasala. It's not less important than the position of an-nubuwah. The difference is, the difference between an-nubuwah and risala on one hand, and imama on the other hand, is that the Prophet receives revelation directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He receives a book, he receives orders and revelations directly from Allah as a revelation, in the form of revelation called wahi. The Imam also receives orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not in the form of revelation, in the form of ilham, what you would call inspiration. The Imam is divinely inspired. He doesn't receive revelation as in angels come and speak to him like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the other angels, but he's divinely inspired.
So it's safe to say that Imam is a continuation of prophethood.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's not less significant. Not less significant. Yes, a prophet. Of course, not all prophets. Some of them bring new religions.
Yes.
Some are a continuation of previous religions. The Imam does not bring a new religion. The Imam continues the religion of his prophet.
Yes.
Furthermore, we believe, and there are narrations, not only in our school of thought, but in the Sunni school of thought, that every prophet has imams. Every prophet has several imams. Some narrations say specifically 12 imams after every prophet. Musa had 12 disciples, and 12 imams after him. Isa had 12 disciples, and so to other prophets. Every prophet had 12 disciples or 12 imams after him.
So we can say that the definition of imam is a disciple, or is it just a way of guidance?
No, it's not. An imam literally means leader. Ya'um, leads. Imam, leader. This word literally comes from leadership. In fact, the Quran says the leaders of the kuffar, calls them imams. A'immatul kufr.
Yes.
They are the imams for the kuffar. And imam, literally the word imams means to lead. So imam, our imams, we believe, they're leaders. They're the ones who led the Islamic nation, or they were supposed to lead the Islamic ummah after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If it wasn't for the interference that occurred, they were supposed to lead. So this is how we perceive an imam. An imam is not someone who, he's not just a president or a prime minister who's elected by the people, or he's self-appointed. It's not just a political position, it's a religious position, it's a spiritual position. And we'll talk about the criteria that must be found in an imam. Not anyone can claim to be an imam.
Inshallah. And some people, when we do mention this, some people bring the fact and refute it that how is it a political position within an imam if, you know, we only have Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib who actually came to power and ruled. The other imams did not, you know, they never got to power. Half of them, you know, the majority of them went in prison, died, poisoned, butchered in Karbala.
The problem is there was an interference.
So the interference
they were meant to come to power and lead the Islamic nation. But unfortunately, people stood in their way, and they were not put into the positions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted them.
And this is elaborated in chapter 28 verse 5 where it says, in not the exact verse but with the meaning, it says, even if the imam fails to attain temporal power in this world, he is still an imam because he is divinely appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is for this reason that the Shia 12ers actually believe that the appointed imam is the one who basically is appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if we want to come to that, no, see, the difference is that when it comes to this, are they actually appointed? Are they enforced upon us? And according to the Noble Quran, is it possible to prove whether an imam is selected or elected? Because there's a difference between selection and election, because enforced or it's our choice.
Of course. Let's be objective and unbiased. We could say that our imams were chosen, but we would like to convince our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
We want to convince others.
It's important.
We don't want to
Just
enforce our opinion and make claims.
Yeah.
What does the Quran say? Is an imam or a khalifa selected or elected? What we mean by elected is elected by the people.
Yeah,
people
same like
come,
a president.
Like the president, prime minister, people come and say that this is the imam that we want. Is this how it works? Or it's by selection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses. When we come to the Quran, we see that the Quran says the imam and khalifa has to be divinely selected. Whenever the word imam or a'imma, which is the plural of imam, or khalifa is mentioned in the Quran, we always see another word with it. Ja'al. Inna ja'alna. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ, as we shall see. We selected, we appointed, we made. Whenever these words come, imam, a'imma, khalifa, we always see ja'al.
That's in the Quran?
This is in the Quran. Selected. These people were selected. For example, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنْ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا.
Wow.
After Ibrahim alayhi salam passed a test, and we all know which test that was, the test of slaughtering his son Ismail. This was a test. And this tells us something.
What kind of test is that?
It was a difficult test to slaughter his son. This tells us something, that in order for you to be an imam, you have to pass a test.
Definitely.
You have to be willing to give everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This says so much about the position of an imam.
Definitely.
That an imam is not, he's not randomly selected off the street. He has to be someone of such a high
moral
level,
conduct,
a moral status, a spiritual status, to the point that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him in a dream, not through revelation. You know, when people don't take dreams very seriously, right? Even if he sees in a dream that he's slaughtering his son, he'll do it.
Wow.
This is an imam. إِنَّا جَعَلْنَاكَ قَالَ إِنِّي جَعَلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. طيب. And then Ibrahim, he asks, what about my progeny? What about my children? Will they be imams as well? قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين. He said no. There's certain criteria. لا ينال عهد الظالمين. Oppressors will not be able to receive this position, this divine position. We'll talk about this in a little bit. Inshallah. When we talk about the criteria.
Yes.
Another verse. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَأِ in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 30. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ بِالْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the angels that I would like to put a khalifa on earth. This is a khalifa. قالوا أتجعل فيها ما يفسد فيها. The angels protested to Allah. Why? Do you want to put someone who will be corrupt and kill and spill blood? This says, this verse infers that there was a group of humans before Adam alayhi salam. And so whether they were humans like us, were they Homo sapiens, were they Homo erectus, as some scientists say, or according to some narrations, they were not nas, they were nesnas. They were a different kind of species. Anyhow, قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. I know that which you don't know. خلاص. He appointed Adam. وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها.
Wow.
He appointed Adam, Khalifa. In another verse, speaking to Dawood alayhi salam. Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ard. Dawood was a Khalifa. Allah says, we have appointed you as a Khalifa.
So Khalifa, and Imam, they intertwine? Are they the same?
Yes. Yes, we believe they're the same position. The position of Imama and the position of Khilafa are the same exact positions. You see, the 12 Imams that we believe in, they were successors to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but their position was not just an ordinary position.
Was it less than prophethood?
It was definitely not less than prophethood. It was not less than prophethood. Proof of that is that Ibrahim alayhi salam was already an imam. He was already a messenger, and he was already a prophet. He was given a promotion and made an imam.
Wow.
What does that tell you?
So that means it's the highest position?
It's the highest position.
Wow.
Thus, our imams. So this is another topic. So we want to talk about imamate in itself, and then talk about the imams. Imamate is a level higher than prophethood, higher than nubuwwah and risala. And our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an imam as well. He was an imam. طيب. يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفة في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق ولا تتبع الهوى. We have made you a khalifa. Another verse, Surah Al-Anbiya 73. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. We have made them imams. The verse is talking about the Prophet. Surah Al-Anbiya.
Yes.
Surah Al-Anbiya gives us stories of
various stories
of different prophets.
Yes.
The verse and it's a beautiful verse. It praises the prophets, and it says وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. We made them imams. They were not self-proclaimed imams. They were not elected by the people. We made them into imams. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ وَإِقَامَةَ الصَّلَاةِ. In another verse, Surah Al-Qasas, verse number 5. وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. We make them imams. We want to do a favor to those who felt weak. استضعفوا في الأرض. Those who were made weak, those who their rights and their powers and privileges were taken away. وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. We want to make them imams. You see, every time the word imam comes, or khalifa, جعلنا إنا جعلنا وجعلنا. In another verse, وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا لما صبروا وكانوا بآياتنا يوقنون. This, again, another verse that shows that imams are divinely appointed and selected, not elected.
But there's a question that raises, I mean, the verses that you've mentioned are really crucial to explain the aspect of imam and what imama means. But we'll answer that inshallah after the break, if you will, Sayyidina. So respected viewers, we just got an overview of what imama is, and inshallah we'll go into a short break, and from the Holy Shrine of Imam Hussein live footages, as well as an overview of the topic of this episode. So to the break, we'll be back shortly.
نصير ويا رحمن يا نعم النصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير ويا رحمن يا نعم النصير ويا رحمن يا نعم النصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير ويا رحمن يا نعم النصير ويا رحمن يا نعم النصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير إلهي يا سميع يا بصير.
Respected viewers, welcome back. Hope you inshallah enjoyed those exclusive live footages from inside the holy sanctuary, the holy shrine of Imam al-Hussein, peace be upon him. But before the break, we talked about what imama is and what makes a person, or are they elected or selected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So back to discussion with my dear guest, Sayid Hossein Al-Qazwini. Welcome back. How are you, Sayyidina?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sayyidina, before the break, you mentioned a few verses regarding the imams. They are appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not just any ordinary job that one can claim, like the president or the prime minister or the queen or king. So we got that out of the way. But you mentioned verses and stated that وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً, we have made them or selected them to be the imams, the leaders. Some people claim that this verse or the verses that you've mentioned are for them, for the imams of Ahlul Bayt, and you stated that they're the prophets. So this raises some confusion amongst in our mentality.
Sure. You see, imama is a general position.
Mm-hmm.
Some prophets were imams.
Mm-hmm.
Our prophet was an imam, and we have our imams, the 12 imams. This verse is talking about that position, the position of imamah. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. The position of imamah. Now, the outer appearance of this verse, the outer meaning, the outer meaning, al-ma'na al-zahiri, or the tafsir of this verse, it's talking about the prophets, because this verse falls into the chapter of
the prophets.
Al-Anbiya.
Yes.
However, it's not secluded to the prophets only, or it's not restricted to the prophets only.
So they're talking about a position.
A position, the
not
position of
exact
imam.
individuals.
Non-exact individuals. Ahsant. Non-exact individuals. The position of imam. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. These are prime examples of those, the prophets, are prime examples of those who held two positions, maybe even more than two. Prophethood and imamah. It's okay for one person to be a prophet and an imam, just like Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim was a prophet. In fact, Ibrahim had several positions. He was a prophet, he was a messenger, he was Khalilullah, and he was an imam. He gathered a couple of positions. So this verse could fit perfectly well with our Imams as well. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. And we have made them Imams. And we have narrations from the Imams of Ahlul Bayt that say these verses, the ta'wil, the inner meaning of these verses, it's talking about us, the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخِيرَاتِ. So there's a general position of imamah that some prophets could have and our Imams also had. I don't know if this removes...
It does somewhat remove the confusion, but
confusion.
The thing is that some people do ask, and a lot when you go search the internet, search Facebook or Twitter, they sometimes refute that, you know, these verses are for the prophets. But yet, when I look into the books of, you know, explaining the Quran and the exegesis and what they have said about the Quran, they said that these verses are explicitly revealed for the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So is this true, or is it somewhat...
There is the tafsir of the ayah and there is the ta'wil of the ayah. This is how we could fix the problem.
Yes.
The tafsir of the ayah, the apparent meaning of the verse is talking about the prophets.
Yes.
The ta'wil of the ayah, the inner meaning of the verse, is talking about our Imams.
Okay.
The 12 Imams.
So there's
the 12
difference.
Imams of Ahlul Bayt that came after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So it's good that we, you know, got rid of that confusion, because sometimes it does get frustrated when you try to answer someone and then you lack the knowledge to actually try to answer the question. But Sayyidina, earlier on in the episode,
there's one issue that I'd like to solve. Some viewers might say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ard. Dawood was the Khalifa of Allah. He was the successor or the representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth. While the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, they are the successors of the Prophet. They are the representatives of the Prophet, not Allah. So there's a difference. Some might say this. The answer is no. The Imams of Ahlul Bayt, yes, they represented Rasulullah, and at the same time they represented Allah.
Because Prophet Muhammad...
Because Rasulullah was representing Allah. So if Rasulullah is representing Allah and the Imams are representing Rasulullah, automatically the Imams are representing whom? Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Similar to the government.
Similar to the government. The Imam is the only one with the criteria, the only one qualified to represent Allah on earth. There's no one else. There's no other prophet. There's no other messenger. So he's the representative of Allah as well. So there's no difference between the Imams and Dawood alayhi salam. So I don't want someone to object and say Dawood is the representative of Allah, but the Imams, they're the representatives of Rasulullah. No, because the Imam is also representing Allah.
Okay.
Yes.
So the difference, well, the similarity between Imamah and Khilafah is that they both, this is a successor and this is a leader, but they both represent Allah.
Yes.
So that's what that
Imam
means.
and Khilafah, they're intertwined. It's the same position.
That's perfect. But Sayyidina, earlier on in the episode, you've mentioned the qualifications of an Imam. I would like to mention a narration, narrated actually both by Sunnis and Shia. It says, anyone who dies without knowing the Imam of his time dies the death of Jahiliyyah, the pagans prior to Islam, or the ignorant ones prior to Islam. Chapter 17, verse 71, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran, the day when we will call out every nation with their Imam, then whoever is given their books with the right hand will recite the book, shall read their book, and they will not be dealt unjustly. So with the narration and with the verse from the Holy Quran, and again, because we have dedicated these nights and dedicated these episodes to grasp our information and our examples only from the Quran, because some try to refute narration, some try to refute explanations. So from the Quran, what are the qualifications? Because they say every nation will be called with their Imam. So what is the qualification of the Imam? In other words, what is the criteria of being an Imam?
Sure. The Quran is very explicit. It tells us several qualifications and criteria of being an Imam. It describes to us thoroughly. In fact, The Quran does not give us any criteria of being a messenger or a prophet, but gives us criteria and qualifications of being an Imam.
Really?
Doesn't that raise a question?
It does.
Because there were very few that claimed to be prophets. There were some, but not too many. And those who claimed to be prophets, they didn't have too many followers. It didn't create a...
didn't go long.
It didn't go long. It didn't create so much bloodshed and wars and battles. But those who claim to be Imams, they cause a catastrophe.
Yes.
Let's see what the Quran says. وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين. Those who are oppressors will not be my representatives. They will not receive this position. Those who are oppressors. Who is an oppressor? ظالمين. What is meant by oppression in this verse? Oppression is of various kinds. Sometimes you oppress others, you're considered an oppressor.
Yes.
If you sin and transgress and break Allah's laws, you're oppressing Allah. This is a form of oppression towards Allah. A slave that disobeys his master is oppressing his master. This is a form of oppression. When you perform a sin which causes you to be punished later on, you're oppressing whom?
Self-oppression.
This is self-oppression. Thus, all kinds of sins and sinning is considered oppression and oppressive. This means that sinners cannot be representatives of Allah. They cannot be Imams. This requires infallibility in an Imam. Asma. This verse alone, لا ينال عهد الظالمين. This means an Imam has to be infallible. He cannot be a sinner. He cannot be an oppressor to himself, to others, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So restraining oneself from sin makes him infallible.
Yes. A person who's never sinned in his life is someone who's infallible. Now let's come historically.
Yes.
Which one of the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never performed a sin from the Sahaba of Rasulullah? It was none other than Imam Ali alayhi salam. Proof of that is that all Muslim historians have agreed that all of the Sahaba of Rasulullah, with the exception of one or two who will we mention in a second, they all worshipped idols before Islam.
Before Islam.
Isn't this dhulm? Isn't this oppression? Isn't this oppressive towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's it. That's enough. Except Imam Ali alayhi salam. That is why everyone says after saying his name, Karramallahu wajhah, because he never prostrated to an idol.
Yes.
And so too his brother, Ja'far At-Tayyar, never prostrated to an angel. I'm sorry, to an idol. So this is one. You cannot be a sinner. This is one of the qualifications. Number two, as we said, you must pass a test. In order to be an Imam, you have to pass a test. You have to reach a certain degree. You have to show loyalty, humility, sense of sacrifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who showed that? Other than the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. The Imams of Ahlul Bayt had reached a spiritual... Read about their biographies, not in Sunni books, in Shi'i books. In Shi'i books of biographies, Rajal, come across Imam Sadiq, Ja'far ibn Muhammad, Imam Musa ibn Ja'far Al-Qazwini. Read about their biographies in Sunni books of Rajal. See how they describe these Imams as being pious. Zahidun, Abidun, Muttaqi, Wari', Alim. All the good virtues are collected in these men. This tells you something. Number three, they must have knowledge. An Imam has to be knowledgeable. You might tell me where. I'm sorry. Must pass a test. Proof of that is the story of Ibrahim. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَعَلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. So he had to pass a test. He had to prove himself. So an Imam has to be able to prove himself to show that he's reached a significant level. Number three, he must have knowledge. Proof of this, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً till the end of the ayah. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Adam was taught He had knowledge. He had divinely inspired knowledge.
Yes.
An imam cannot be someone who does not have knowledge. Yes.
And going back when you said that an imam has to, or someone has to pass a test to become an imam, we see the imams of Ahlul Bayt born as imams. Which test have they passed?
Now this is something that you and I might accept, others might not accept. But we believe our imams were tested, but not in this life. And a life before.
Alam al-Dhar?
And Alam al-Dhar. Is this possible? Absolutely. All Muslims believe that in Alam al-Dhar we were asked a question. قَالَ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى. This is in the Quran. That Allah asked us, He took confession from us. That am I not your Lord? قَالُوا بَلَى. Yes, you are. This didn't happen. No one asked us in this
life,
world.
yes.
So it happened in that world.
In the year,
We believe that in Alam al-Dhar, the Ahlul Bayt were tested and they passed a test. Regarding Fatima al-Zahra in her ziyarah, يا ممتحنة امتحنك الله الذي خلقك قبل أن يخلقك فوجدك لما امتحنك صابرة. Oh, the tested one. When was Fatima al-Zahra tested? The ziyarah says that Fatima al-Zahra was tested
before she was
before
born.
she was created, before she was born. Of course, before her physical body was created. Otherwise, her nafs, her spirit was already created. As for the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, in Dua al-Nudba we read, بعد أن اشترطت عليهم الزهد في هذه الدنيا الدنية فشرطوا لك ذلك وعلمت منهم الوفاء. In Dua al-Nudba the Imam says that you made them into Imams. However, you set a condition. You put a test that you live an aesthetic life. You live a simple life. بعد أن اشترطت عليهم الزهد في هذه الدنيا الدنيا. You live a simple life. No luxury, no power, no money, simple clothing, simple food. And they accepted. And they said yes. فشرطوا لك ذلك. They accepted this condition. And you knew that they will fulfill this condition, so you made them into Imams. وعلمت منهم الوفاء. You knew that they will accept this condition and follow through on this condition. This was a test. This was a test.
Yes.
Among the criteria and qualifications of an Imam, to rule and judge according to the truth, not falsehood, not lies. يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفة في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق.
Yes.
This is a qualification of an Imam, that you judge and rule according to the truth, not falsehood. You rule according to the truth with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't do things in your favor. You don't rule in your favor. You rule according to the truth even if it goes
against you.
Even if it's not in your favor. This is one of the signs of an Imam. Look at the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam. علي مع الحق والحق مع علي يدور معه حيثما دار. If we read about the biography of Imam Ali, we see that his life revolved around the truth, revolved around al-haq. Among the qualifications of an Imam, وَلَا تَتَّبِعَ الْهَوَى. The same verse regarding Dawood, وَلَا تَتَّبِعَ الْهَوَى. Do not follow personal desires. Who followed personal desires and who didn't follow personal desires after the death of Rasulullah? Let's leave this open question for our viewers to go and research.
Yes.
We know who didn't follow his desires. That was Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, who would say, Ya khadra wa ya safra. He would speak to the dinars and the dirhams. Ghurri ghairi. Ya dunya ghurri ghairi. Go and deceive someone else. Don't come to me.
Wow.
You have no control over Ali ibn Abi Talib.
Wow.
Among the qualifications of the Imams, do we have time?
Yes, we have approximately a couple of minutes left.
Okay. Among the qualifications of an Imam, they guide by the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they do good deeds. They establish salat. Establishing salat is not performing salat. It's upholding salat.
Yes.
It's giving salah meaning. It's getting others to pray and giving salah meaning. They give zakat, and those who are worshippers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا. They guide by our orders. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. And we reveal to them to do good deeds. وَإِقَامَ الصَّلَاةِ. And to establish prayers. وَإِيتَاءَ الزَّكَاةِ. And to pay zakat. وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ, and they were our worshippers. Who had this sign of worshippers other than the Imams of Ahlul Bayt? Starting from Imam Ali alayhi salam till the last Imam. They were known for their worship. In their biographies, the first thing that we read about them, Al-Abid. Al-Abid. This was, if you want to know the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, ask who are the worshippers in Medina, they'll tell you. Know that those are Ahlul Bayt.
Wow.
And finally, I'll mention two more qualifications. They had patience and had certainty.
Yes.
وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا. And we made them imams to guide with our orders when they were patient, meaning patience was a criteria for them to become an imam.
Yes.
If they were not patient, they would not have been made imams. وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. They had certainty in our signs.
Yes.
They had certainty. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, لو كشف لي الغطاء مزدت يقين. If the curtain is removed from my eye and I could see what normal human beings don't see, if I could see heaven and hell and people being rewarded in heaven and people being punished in hellfire, my certainty would not increase. I've already reached certainty.
Wow.
This is Imam Ali. These qualities, I want my dear viewers to review these qualities and then come to the Sahaba of Rasulullah and to see those who came to power. Let them judge them according to these verses. I'm not saying any hadith from Al-Kafi or Bihar al-Anwar or any hadith. These qualities that discuss the qualities of an imam, of a khalifa, who was befitting of these qualities.
And just to conclude tonight's episode, I would like to mention a story that fit this qualification or this criteria. I'm not going to mention any names. The khulafa, the caliphs, the rulers, the successors who came after Prophet, and the one who his brother came to him and asked for money, and that's his close brother. I mean, we found in the third caliph who made his family rich and, you know, mansions and villas and whatever, and the fourth caliph who his brother came to him and wanted extra money so he can, you know, not become, you know, a millionaire or get very rich. No, just a small amount of money so he can live. This person heated up a metal and brought it close up to him. So we do see the difference.
Remind him of hellfire.
Of hellfire. So we do see the qualifications illustrated through history. We don't need to prove when it's mentioned in the Quran in both traditions of Sunni and Shia. I would like to thank you very much, Sayyidina, for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you for your hard work and dedication to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Respected viewers, thank you very much for joining us in tonight's episode. The live footages are provided to you, so you may send your salutations to Imam and our master, Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. So do please send in your salutation, and any question that you may have, send us to our Facebook, inbox us, Twitter, whatever you want to use. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So go and send your questions there. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina. Allah yakhlikum.
إماما لحال